Hello everybody, my name is James Elliott and I run Elliott and Keep Clocks Limited, and I also run the eBay shop, the Horology Centre. And today I've got this really fantastic giant Grande Sonnerie by Drocco. Giant in the fullest sense of the word. I've got a pretty standard size movement here, and I'll just pop that in front. It's unrestored as well, which is great because you get to see the difference. I mean, it's not actually that dirty. I've seen them much worse than that, but that gives you a comparison in size. Look at the size of those barrels in comparison. Let's get that before it goes around the back. So very rare to find these giant Grande Sonnerie clocks, especially in this sort of condition. This clock, as you can see, it's just been fully restored. It will be going on test inside its case, and I thought really good idea to make a video and sort of capture the grand scale of this French clock, because they're normally much finer in their size. This is very much made in the English manner, with much larger scale, much bigger plates. As we come round, we can see the time side. And there's all the Grande Sonnerie levers and racks, and they've been cleaned and re-oiled and reassembled. Mainsprings, I can tell you, they almost ripped my hand off. And I was taking my limbs into, put my limbs at risk restoring this clock. So let's artificially turn the hands from the front here. So then, the reason I'm doing this is so you can see what's going on. It's set on a different drive. I'm just doing it from up here, so we can see the flirt lever. Here we have the flirt lever. That's going to, you should have that nice spring action, so it's moving into the pin. If you have a carriage clock that's not striking, it can be because that spring isn't tight enough, and what it's doing, it's overriding the pin on the rack hook. So I'm not sure where we're at. Quarter past 3. So those gongs sound absolutely marvellous. We're coming up to the hour. So if you ever wondered how a Grande Sonnerie works, how does it go from hours to quarters? Well, this is it. This is how it works. Here you've got the hour snail. This determines how far the hour rack drops. This is the arm of the rack. So obviously we have an index of different heights, which is going to then be related to here on how far this drops. Then you've also got the quarter rack, which is just behind the hour wheel. This is the hour wheel, this big wheel here, and this quarter snail here. And the quarter snail is made up of 2 discs, and these discs, they flick over at the hour. And the reason they flick at the hour is so the quarter rack can't drop. So it stays at its normal height. So then the hour rack can just finish striking, and then that's the end. So as opposed to if it was coming up onto a quarter, the quarter rack will be able to drop, the hour rack will finish striking, and then the quarter rack will take over, and that's determined by these little detents here at the end of the hammer shafts or hammer arbors, depending on what is allowed to drop and what isn't allowed to drop. So if you'll see it drop, allow the bottom detent to strike. Then there's a lift, which is being lifted by this little pin that lives here, and that's lifting it up and allowing detents to drop at the correct time. So as I said, we're coming up for the hour right now. So this will flick over to the next hour. You'll see it move, it's coming into position, and then it's going to be forced downwards, and then this nail will be doing double duty because it will be flicking this nail over at the same time with the discs, as I mentioned. There we go. You flick it, you blink and you'll miss that, and then onto the hour. And then, you know, so if I was to I'm not sure I can actually move that because it will be engaged. I can move it that way, for instance, then it will change back to 3. It's doing a ting-tang because it hasn't fully engaged it because I've brought it back. So let's bring that back. There we go, and you can see it move back into position, and then it won't do the ting-tang. Okay, so to quarter past. So once it's out of that position, then I'm free to move this because it's out the way of the pins now. So if I move it to 1, the rack will only drop so far. And then if I drop it to 12, it will drop all the way. Gongs need to be a little bit refined. There's a little bit of tremor in there which I need to take out, but it's just it's been freshly overhauled and put back, but it's running so well. I'm gonna case it up and take some photographs. I'm so excited. Normally you'd leave the movement out just for at least for maybe a couple of weeks to check that it's running okay, because there's nothing worse than having to do an adjustment when it's out, you know, when it's been put back in the case. You need to take it out again, and the way to get around that is obviously testing it thoroughly. But you get these clocks where you get in, you know, I knew it was in good condition already. I knew the clock had run down in the sense that the springs were all relaxed. So it was just a case of an overhaul, really. This is the selector lever. This selects the Petite Sonnerie and the Grande Sonnerie, which in fact I need to pop a pin in. I'm glad that I pointed that out. So that'll be my next job. It could never come off because it's fitted here. It could never ride forward enough to actually stop doing its job. But needless to say, that needs a pin. So it's at the Grande Sonnerie position. This lifts this lever all the way up, and that's allowing the hour to drop for every quarter on the Grande Sonnerie. If we were to then bring this all the way over this way, yeah, that way, then it would be on Petite Sonnerie, because then this would drop, and then it would act, it wouldn't allow the rack to drop each quarter, but it would lift because there's a pin on here that will lift it for the hour. so it makes sure that it's out of the way for the hour. So let's go upstairs and have a look at this escapement. Sorry. I've also took the liberty of getting I mean, the size of this platform is pretty average, and it's not even, I mean, it's about the same size as the valance itself. So it's really another sort of comparison to how big it is. And look at it chomp away, it's extremely healthy. Really good, nice action. All the original silverings there, that's all perfect. Lever escapement. So there we have it. Really, I think the last one I had was over a year ago, and it wasn't a Grande Sonnerie. The last giant I had, I think it was a straightforward striker. I think this is the second only that I've had a Grande Sonnerie that's in a giant. So there we have it. I hope you've enjoyed watching this this video, and in the next few days I'll do a video of the clock all together. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.